Um, my involvement in the Olympics basically started about November last year. I got a call from the #2 guy at CIRC and had asked me to give the Olympic Committee a call. He had put my name in as being the guy to talk to about this particular aspect of the Olympics. And so we started back in November of last year, and that's how we first got started. I was doing a TV show in New York, and I met with one of the representatives of the committee at that point in New York.
What kind of involvement did you get?
Oh, okay. So basically,
participation there.
Our participation basically was our capacity was to train and choreograph. Initially, it was to go over and train, and we had 440 people we were in charge of. We started off as training. Basically, I have a patent on the pieces that they were using over there, so it's kind of the best choice. I took somebody with me who arguably is the best person in the world on, and so he and I went, and we trained a staff of people, a team of people, to train in our absence while we were gone, so they could continue. So, and then it turned from training into choreography. So, about 2/3 of the way in, we started doing choreography. So. Yeah, it's kind of a surprise to us. So.
Was it a language, a communication issue?
It was tough to communicate. I mean, I had to try and learn Chinese fairly quickly, and I learned a lot of counting, which is pretty much what we were going to be doing mostly. But I had an interpreter with me all the time. David was phenomenal. He's a graduate of San Diego, so very well versed in both English and Chinese. And I think the hardest part that one of the hardest things it wasn't so much the language barrier. It was more the food and the atmosphere, not the climate, but just the air quality was extremely difficult. We were in a mock-up stadium about 100 miles outside of Beijing, and it was very rural where they burn everything. So that was difficult. It was about 28 degrees, and we were out there for 10 hours a day, and I think that and the differences in food were amazingly different. I mean, I don't think anybody in China has ever been to Panda Express, because they didn't have Panda Express there. You know what I mean? So.
Okay, so that was a challenge. You kind of answered my question there, but did you face any challenges during your performance, or what was the challenge?
To try and get that many people to try and be synchronized all at one time, I think was exceptionally difficult, because you have to understand, we're talking to somebody, that somebody's talking to 25 other people, and those 25 people are talking to 400 other people. So it was kind of like this almost lost in translation kind of thing. And it was in order to tell somebody to correct something, I had to tell my interpreter, who told this person, who either told a training coach to tell the kid or the athlete, or my interpreter would speak directly to the athlete. But all in all, what would have normally taken a couple seconds to explain now took 30 seconds. So it was it was like a minute munching type of situation. A lot of the minutes got munched away by that type of stuff. So.
Where do you go from here? So now what is next?
Well, I mean, as far as Stiltworks goes, that's the company that the Beijing committee hired with my company, Stiltworks, which is part of another company under the Works group. We have different Works companies. We do everything for, like, we have some defense things coming up. I have some new toys coming out. I have about 4 more patents. One of the most exciting things I'm working on right now is it's a hurricane sequestering device. That's that little thing that we were looking at earlier, and it's actually used to cool the surface temperature of the ocean. Now, I'm excited about that is because I think the next major test we may have may be out in the Gulf of Mexico, and it's based on a natural phenomenon called upwelling. So when one tornado or one hurricane comes through and slams, the tumultuous water starts to upwell colder water from the lower depths. So a second one comes in and it loses all strength. And so, for every 1 degree that we can drop the surface temperature, we can knock down a hurricane's category by 2/3. Typically, we're getting 2 degrees every time. So, take into consideration what's going on in the Gulf right now, getting ready to slam in Louisiana. had we had these things out deployed in front of the hurricane, let's say it comes in at Category 3. If it hits our slick of cold water, basically it knocks it down 1 1/3 categories. So the property loss, the loss of life, damages, things like that are drastically reduced. So that's the next thing we're working on. I'm very excited about that. It's a lot bigger than the, you know, it's a completely different tangent, but it's something very, very well, very satisfying to work on. So we're excited. Awesome.
Unless you have something else.
I can tell you about all kinds of new things we're doing, but that's the biggest one.
That's the biggest one.
Yeah, that one's the most fun. So well, hopefully I was in frame.